All right, welcome everybody to this week's community call. I'm going to give people some more time to join, and welcome to the many new faces that we're seeing in the crowd. It's awesome to have you here. Our Discord server grew by quite a bit during this past week, so it's really nice to see you guys here. Quick housekeeping item. Oh, Yana's here. Nice. Hi, Yana.
Hi guys, sorry about
Nice
that.
tech one too. No, it's fine. It's fine. All right. Well, we have everyone now on board who we should. So let's get started. Okay, so like I was saying, the call is being recorded, and it is going to be uploaded to a dedicated YouTube playlist, where you can listen back to it if you want to re-listen to Yana's interview, and also want to find out more about Shipyard Academy, which we're going to be discussing with Jaya
Hello.
very soon.
Hi,
So
everyone.
today with me I have Ismail, who many of you already know, there, and also Jaya, NIM CSO.
Hey yo, good to be here again and good to see the room filling up.
And we also have Yana with us.
Yay, hi everybody.
Just some additional context. Jaya and myself were in Lisbon um, for the IPFS camp and also many other events, and we both contracted COVID. So our energy is a bit lower than usual. So please bear with us, especially if it's your first time here. You're probably going to be hearing a version of us that is about 40 to 45% of our usual versions. So apologies for that. We're doing our best to still entertain you guys.
Yeah, so many of you probably know or might know that Lisbon had, a kind of epic series of various Web3 and internet-related events over the past week and going forward into next week as well. So a lot of things that were going on. There was IPFS camp. There was also the Web Summit, which I think like just the Web Summit alone attracts like 80,000 people from all over the world. So you can imagine it's not difficult to get COVID when you're there. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on in Lisbon these days. So neither me nor Simon are there any longer. But if anyone else is hanging out and have been up to anything fun in Lisbon, mention it in the channel.
So while we're talking about Lisbon, let's go through our quick news roundup before we talk to Yana. So a link will be shared. So in general, for those of you who are new, links to everything that we discuss are usually shared to our community call dedicated text channel. So you can check out that channel for some additional info while you're listening in. So Jaya appeared in a panel with Marta Belcher and Chris Tomeo and Jennifer Morrison. It was a UPA panel. So for those of you who don't know UPA is an alliance spearheaded by NIM and some other crypto projects. There's the Universal Privacy Alliance, and it's basically a unified way for us to communicate about privacy together with these projects, and also to hit some common goals together with them. Jay, I want to say a few words about that panel.
Yeah, so this was the second Universal Privacy Alliance event. The first one was held in Bogota about a month ago, where we had Edward Snowden as a guest. This time around is a little bit more of a kind of tight crew where we had, so as Pseudo said, Marta Belcher. She's the president of the Filecoin Foundation, and her background is legal. So she was giving a very good kind of short summary on some of the issues around financial privacy and the kind of laws around financial privacy. And to her mind, the ways that, what we're seeing with the kind of Tornado Cash case, and general approaches to financial privacy from regulators these days is kind of like a precursor to what we might see in the privacy space overall, or that's kind of her worry right now, right? So she was kind of pushing back on that a little bit and talking a bit about how Filecoin Foundation aims to educate regulators a little bit on this question of regulation that targets technology rather than humans and what humans do. So She gave some very interesting comments, and it's been a pleasure to meet Marta. We're going to be working together a little bit more in the future. There's I would say a lot of synergies between Filecoin Foundation, IPFS, and NIM. So that was a pleasure. And then we had Chris Tomeo from the Electric Coin Company. For those who might not know Electric Coin Company specifically, they're better known for being the people behind Zcash. So that's Zuku and his crew, basically. So again, a project that is super aligned with NIM and the mission of NIM, and that are part of the UPA core group. And Chris Tomeo himself, he leads the growth and strategy team of ECC. So it was also a real pleasure to meet him in person. And then we had Jennifer Morrison from Manta, and Manta, we've been working closely with Manta since the very beginning of Universal Privacy Alliance, led very much by Kenny Lee. So all in all, it was really good to meet everyone in person, and especially at the forum of the IPFS camp and Protocol Labs, which some of you might know too. So we also had a few meetings with Juan Bennett, who is the founder of Protocol Labs. We also had a few meetings with basically like a whole bunch of great people were in town that day. So we also met with Kurt Opsahl from the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the EFF, that quite a few of you might know if you've been kind of in and around the privacy debates for a while. And a whole number of interesting people that I'm sure will come up in the conversation too. But I would say the panel was great, and we finally got the recordings through, so have a look at that. Yeah.
It was a pretty fascinating panel, although a bit short to my liking. To be honest, I could have listened to you guys.
It was pretty short.
Yeah, I could have listened to you guys for at least an hour more. It was a really good group. So I recommend everybody watching it. Once again, a link to it was shared in the community poll
Yes,
dedicated to this channel.
some very fun news
What
from
else
our
do we have,
friends
Ismail?
at No Trust Verify. So our very, very, very good friends over at No Trust Verify released an adaptation of Pastebin called PasteNim. So you can use this right now to share pieces of text. So you may have used Pastebin in the past. If you don't know what it is, you can Google it obviously quickly, or use another search browser to check it out. So No Trust Verify decided to aim to protect users and their data way more, especially the metadata, and they do this by utilizing NIM's MixNet. So a little word about Sven. Sven is our friend over at No Trust Verify, and he will definitely be featured in one of our upcoming community calls in the near future, which will be able to discuss PasteNim in more detail.
He promised he would come on, so I'll keep him to that. And we'll find out more about
Yeah,
PasteNim.
PasteNim.
Sorry,
Yeah,
not
exactly,
PasteNim. That's a non-NIM version.
And for everyone, we see
PasteNim.
lots of new faces right now, which is amazing. So just a friendly reminder for everyone who hasn't registered for Shipyard Academy yet, the registration period will be closing very, very soon after the call, or around near the end of the call at around 1600 UTC, which is in about 49 minutes, if I believe. Yes. So please, if you haven't registered yet and you're part of this call and listening to this right now, please head on over to the type form, which we will be sharing in the group chat right now, and please register as soon as possible, because the registration period will be closing soon. Over to you, Simon.
And by the end of this call, you're going to know much more about Shipyard Academy than you currently do. So anybody who joined for that reason, you're going to know significantly more. But before that, on to our first guest today, who's the newest member of Team NIM. Now, it is a tradition that new joiners are brought on these community calls to get to introduce themselves and talk a bit about their background and why and how they ended up at NIM. So in line with that, I would like to welcome Yana. Hi there, Yana.
Hi there. Thank you so much, Simon. It's a pleasure to be here. And I'm a bit nervous, so please bear with me. So I'm Yana. I come from Ukraine. I've been living for the past almost 15 years in Germany, but my whole family is in Ukraine, so I visit them very often. And I'm a front-end developer since a bit more than 3 years. And I've been at NIM since 3 weeks. Yeah.
And you're also a figure skater, or just a hobbyist?
Yeah, this is a hobby that I also started in 2019, and it's actually something that keeps me healthy physically and mentally, like a yoga for me. I really love it. So right now, I'm not really in Munich, where I usually based, but in Oberstdorf. This is a really small village, 150 kilometers from Munich, where they have the best figure skating station here. So I train here. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I was really impressed by what is that? Is it a backward spin that you're
Yeah,
doing?
that was a backward spin, that a new element I'm learning. So I'm progressing, very proud of myself. And I actually wear the NIM hoodie because it's so good. It's so warm, gives me warm on ice. So a perfect outfit to train as well.
I just shared it in the channel, and you did
Oh,
give me
thank you.
permission already, Anna. So
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind if you want
Yeah,
I was
to.
just
no,
about to
of
ask.
course. Of course.
I already shared it with the community when I announced Yana as the guest of this community call. Now, first of all, when I look through your LinkedIn, which I normally do in preparation for these calls, I noticed that you speak a whole bunch of languages, right? So you have a master's in linguistics in Italian,
Yeah.
and French and English, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
interestingly, which is not something I hear a lot, also linguistics brought you to programming. That's very
Yes.
interesting. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So I actually always loved languages, so I studied them at the university, and I started to study in Ukraine, and then I came to Germany because German was so difficult to learn. So I said, God damn it, I need to do something. So I said, I will go to Germany and stay 1 year and fix my German. But I liked it so much here. So I stayed and finished my studies here. So it was actually English, French, and Italian, because I said, okay, I can still learn Germany here, German in Germany. So I'm not taking that language at the university. And to be honest, I never wanted to be a translator or a teacher. I just loved languages because you can communicate with them and you can learn so much more about people and their culture when you actually speak their language. I sometimes even don't understand how someone can read Dostoevsky in translation. It's, you lose like at least half of all the meaning if you do not speak, for example, Russian.
I know you're breaking
Freely.
my heart now. You're breaking my heart.
I'm sorry. Just saying this as linguist. So that's why, yeah, I've studied languages, and then I worked in different, how should I put it, jobs, which were not really linguistics related, but I also could use my languages like English at work. So it was for events, for sales, for also community management. That's what I did. And then in my last job before I switched to programming, letters in this tool where you sometimes had to change the color of the text in the CMS. So sometimes it didn't work. And the manager told Yana, I have a magic word for you. In order for your text color to change, you need to write exclamation mark important to it. And I was like, what? It doesn't make any sense. So I did it, and my color of the text changed. And I was like, why? Why does it work? And I was so far away from technology back then. So I asked, how come a simple English word like important can change how computer works? So it was like such a big revelation for me. And that's where I actually started to look into HTML just to read it. And I understood that I can actually read the markup. And it was also another revelation because I thought that programming, it's only something for nerds. you cannot read anything if you haven't studied computer science. And then I took some courses, just some basics for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And when I saw that it keeps my attention for more than 1 year, I said, okay, I wanna learn more. I wanna know more. And that's when I decided to go to a coding bootcamp. So I went to Kiev because I told to myself, okay, Ukraine is really strong in IT. So I really want to learn from the best. And of course, it's my mother language, Ukrainian, so you can learn better. And that's how I learned front-end development. Yes, this is a little story behind it.
That's quite a path from linguistics to front-end development, right? So
Yes,
wait,
it
but
is.
let's how many languages do you speak in total, including programming languages?
Okay, including programming languages. Okay, if HTML is not a programming language, then it would be 8. Well, it would be English, German, French, Italian, Ukrainian, and Russian, JavaScript, and TypeScript.
Wow, that's pretty insane, actually.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I mean, I also like this kind of, to talk about the, natural, like human languages and programming languages alongside each other is also quite an interesting thing because it starts to bring out what are the kind of unique characteristics of coding languages, right? Which is exactly that it's executable. It executes. So
Yes.
that's the key difference here, right? It's like one thing is we can speak and human languages are wonderful to express imagination and to express dreams and to express feelings and to express a lot of different things. But what coding languages do, which is super unique to coding language, is they make things happen in the world and they make things happen directly. And that's quite fascinating. And that's quite fascinating, I think, for the whole, Web3 space. It's part of the kind of deeper philosophy here, right? Is when you think about smart contracts, it's executable law, right? That's the idea. So,
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, basically, it's also a language. Yeah, the programming
That leads
language.
into my next question pretty well because I meant to ask this from you. Whether
Okay.
programming languages are really languages, in the traditional sense, and what are the similarities and what are the differences?
Yes, well, it's called language, but when we look into depth, it's actually not because, programming language is just a set of instructions to control, for example, the behavior of the machine, of the computer. That's why it's executable, as Jaya said. And it also exists only in written form. We do not speak it, and it doesn't evolve naturally. Kind of, you cannot just add something to it and say, okay, now it has to work. It doesn't work like that. And it's not used in the communication between humans. But again, yes, it has lots of similarities. For example, both human and programming languages have syntax. It means, all of techie people know that syntax for programming languages is the structure of the statements in the computer language. But in a human language, it's the arrangement of the words in sentence. For example, in German, it's a very, very strict arrangement. You cannot push and pull the words in the sentence. Otherwise, it might not make sense, or it will have completely different sense. But if you take Ukrainian or Russian language, we have a complete arbitrary positioning of the words. It doesn't even matter how you put the words in the sentence. It will always make almost the same sense, almost always. And I find it fascinating. And languages also actually infinitely generative. What it actually means that human language, it has some set number of words, a vocabulary, but we can use it in the infinite way. We can combine these words into sentences in infinite compositions. And the same actually with the programming languages, because they have finite number of rules, but one can iterate endlessly over these rules. So it's also a different similarity that makes the both comparable.
And also, I would say that just in general, a big difference is how rigid programming languages are, as opposed
Yeah.
to natural languages, which are very very flexible and fluent.
Yes. Also that.
No, actually,
Yeah,
before
I'm guessing most people that code have, had that experience of trawling through to see where you put a wrong comma somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah, the syntax error.
Hmm.
Yeah. We know. Yeah, we all know it. Yes.
it kind of shows how different we are from computers. We're intelligent in a very different way, I guess, than computers are, if you can even call computers intelligent. Someone from the community asked a question about Lexon.org. Are you familiar with it? It's a natural language-based new programming idea. I think it's a programming language, probably, based on deep understanding on how grammar truly works.
I haven't heard about it, but what is the question?
If someone is just asking whether you're familiar with it, Lexon.org.
Unfortunately not, because well, I haven't had so much coding experience so far, and it has to be a very specific project. I can imagine something for language detection, or well, artificial intelligence nowadays is so strong. So can imagine that this can be used for these purposes as well.
Yeah. This question is a bit of a pivot from languages and linguistics, and all of that stuff. So let's talk a bit about privacy and
Yeah.
in line with the ethos of NIM. So what brings you to NIM? Is it just a job you stumbled upon, or more than that?
Yeah, definitely it's more than that. Actually, when I think about it, I can at least define three major reasons why I came to NIM. And well, the first one actually was technology, because I wanted to get into blockchain. And I just know that, well, maybe in Germany it's not that popular, it's not that loved so far, but in Ukraine, blockchain is a huge thing, and I'm following the Ukrainian IT scene, and it's been around there for many years now. And I said, okay, I want to learn it. I want to know why it's so cool. And name works with blockchain. So that's the first reason. The second reason is well, when COVID started, I don't know what you guys did, but I had like potential midlife crisis, and I was asking myself, what do I do with my life? Do I want to center these divs and logos on the web pages till the end of my days? And it's not like it's not important to have a very nice centered logo, but I understand for myself that technology is so strong, it's so powerful that I definitely want to use it in a meaningful way and to build something meaningful that makes something good for this world. And I had two directions where I was interested. It was something in environmental projects where we could solve some environmental issues, or cybersecurity, because internet is such a huge part of our lives that I cannot imagine my life without it. And cybersecurity is a huge theme. And so I thought, okay, this would be two directions. And and then when actually Jack approached me about the job, I looked into the company, and I really liked the product that NIM is creating. The private communication, it was like a little also click, because I love languages, I love communication. So communication being private is even better. And when I researched furthermore into theme, then I understood, well, we talk about privacy in a very rigid sense, like the lay people who have nothing to do with cybersecurity. And they say usually, I have nothing to hide, right? I don't care about privacy. And this is actually, true almost for everyone, because we do not realize what privacy means. And a week ago, I read then this article about Harry in Quanta magazine, and Harry. Sorry.
That was a great one. Let me
Yes,
take a link to it while you're.
yeah, that's where Harry, he told about his experience, how he almost decade ago was arrested and beaten up at the climate, was it conference? Was it a meeting?
There's a climate summit, in Copenhagen. I was there
Exactly.
as well.
So he was actually doing the peaceful activities as a protest. So it was his right. So he also could say, I have nothing to hide. I'm not doing anything illegal, so I don't care about privacy. But still, it was misinterpreted, or not even misinterpreted. It's how it was seen by the government, by the authoritarian structures. And so, let's say for each normal person, we do not understand it until something like this happens. And when something like this happens, that you become the subject of surveillance, then it's already too late. You cannot decide anymore whether something that you've done is legal or illegal, because you do not decide it. It's decided for you. And this is kind of the striking point that very many people do not understand unless they get in such a situation. And if I think about this like that, so I guess we had really much luck that Harry got in such a situation, because he decided to do something about it. He had a huge academic background in computer science and lots of knowledge about internet. And most importantly, he had guts to do something about it, to found this company, and actually not only to secure internet for himself, but for everyone, for just normal people. And I really loved it. And I guess this is my official shout out to Harry, to express my admiration for his activism and his noble cause and goal of name. And what he said, all power to people. That's what we deserve. That's how it has to be. And I definitely want to work for a company like that, because it inspires me. I also want to do something meaningful. I want to grow. I want to learn, to be better, faster, stronger. And I definitely want to be around such people that want to move something in this world, like Steve Jobs said, to how to leave a dent in the universe. And this is a good dent, which makes us people more secure, and which turns technology into to the direction of people, because technology can be used in different ways, but it was created by people for people, so it has to be friendly to us. It has to help us, save us, and make us stronger, not the other way around. So I definitely loved what NIM does.
Yay, great, Yana. So good to have you as part of the company as well, and so good to have you as part of the broader community.
Yeah. Thank
and
you so
for
much.
anyone else that's listening, there's quite a few people on this call. We're sharing links to the articles that Yana was mentioning and everything in the actual community call channel. So if you kind of scroll up, you can see the I don't know what your view is on the call right now, but that's where we're sharing links anyway. If you click on community call channel, you can see the links to the Quanta article and so on. But yeah, so after Yana's wonderful speech about how fantastic it is to work for a company that is on a mission that you really believe in and that you truly believe in, NIM, we're usually hiring. We have a lot of open calls for open positions in the company at the minute. I think Sudo just shared a link to the website where we list our what jobs are open. So do have a look there. But we're a decentralized project, so the company is only one part of the ways that you can get involved with NIM. And we're going to be increasingly decentralizing over the next year or so. And what that means is that, we were going to be relying more and more on our core community and core infrastructure operators and the devs that have kind of gathered around the mission of providing privacy. And the first step towards doing that is the NIM Shipyard Academy, which, we're launching or which is starting tomorrow. So do sign up if you haven't signed up already. So maybe let's go over the Shipyard Academy, Sudo, and just discuss what people should be looking out for, what the first tasks are, and so on.
Definitely. Let's go. Yana, once again, it is awesome to have you on the team.
Thank you.
And it's gonna be awesome to work with you. And probably then if someone needs to center any logo on a website, the NIM logo is a really good logo to center.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Moving on to Shipyard Academy. As probably many of you know, we've announced last week Shipyard Academy and also open submissions, which are going to close very soon. So about after this call, you will have about an hour to apply for Shipyard Academy. So if you haven't already done so, then make sure to do so as fast as possible. Now, Diana and I have been hard at work at Shipyard Academy for quite some time now. So it's pretty amazing to finally kick it off. And well, first of all, probably let's talk a bit about why we're launching Shipyard Academy, right?
Yes. We have a kind of very simple tagline, right, which is to go from Nimster to Nimja. That's basically what we want to achieve with the Shipyard Academy, and what that means essentially is, we consider anybody who join our channels as, you're part of the NIM community, you're a NIMster. But really understanding, both the technical architecture, the many different node types, what the difference is between a mixed net and a blockchain, why privacy is important, who the cypherpunks were, who's Harry Halpin, who's Chelsea Manning, getting to know the kind of NIM universe is a different matter entirely. And we want to make sure that there's a kind of a way for people to get involved and learn how to take part in and expand the NIM community in a bit more of a structured way. So by the end of Shipyard Academy, if you make it through all 3 stages, you should have a really good idea of what this mission is about, what this architecture is about, what this set of tooling is about, and be able to then, potentially join us as future ambassadors, basically. So to go out and actually establish NIM in your local communities in ways that make sense for the privacy problems that you're facing there. So this is the kind of bigger aim of Shipyard Academy. Simon, over to you.
Maybe let's also talk a bit about ambassador programs in general in the crypto space and why we decided to go with a different model, because this is version 2 of Shipyard Academy. Internally, we had a different version first, which we ended up ditching. So it's very important to us to not track you guys, the participants of this academy, unlike most other such programs do. So so that is why we ended up focusing on creating an academy rather than anything else. And the only incentivized activity is in the form of quizzes rather than some other things that would require us to track your every move on social media. It would not be in line with the NIM ethos, so we ended up ditching that.
Yeah, I mean, typically, in ambassador programs, you'll have people complete tasks, right? And when you have thousands of people completing tasks, then you'll have various automated tracking systems to check whether people have completed those tasks or not. And that's simply just not in line with what we're trying to achieve in NIM. We are primarily a privacy company, so we want to our privacy project, and so the key thing here is to set a framework that empowers people to participate and become part of NIM community in a meaningful way. So speaking of quizzes, there's been some keen people in the chat already asking when these quizzes are actually happening. They're going to be happening every Saturday. So not tomorrow. Tomorrow we're just going to give you the first information drop. So you'll be getting the first bit of clues for what are the kinds of things that you need to learn in order to successfully pass the first quiz. So the first quiz will be on the following Saturday. So not November the 5th, but November the 12th. And after that, there's going to be quizzes every single Saturday. We're going to be dividing the participants. Zeldris, don't worry. There's going to be a full guidelines are going to be written up as well. So if you're not able to take full notes right now, don't worry. The guides will be put out. But yeah, quizzes every Saturday. These are also going to be divided into different language groups. So don't worry about that either. Simon.
So more generally, the structure is going to be, or how you can find out of what you need to know for each quiz. It's basically by just very simply keeping a close eye on all of our socials. So throughout the week, we're going to be dropping links to videos and also blog posts. And if you watch those a couple of times and read those a couple of times, then you're going to be doing well at the stage and quizzes, or like the weekly quizzes. And it's also important to note that whenever we share something that is longer, so for example, an hour plus video that is not mandatory to watch, you don't need that to do well in the quiz. We want to make sure that that we all have lives. We want to make sure that that Shipyard Academy doesn't take more than a few hours of your each week, unless you want it to take more. In which case, you can get involved more and also consume more content. Look into them a bit more.
Yeah. Where have we got to? What have we explained so far? Right. So stage 1 begins tomorrow. Registrations ends today. So what happens in stage 1? You first, obviously, if you haven't joined our socials, you need to do that because that's where we're going to be dropping all the learning material. You'll have specific NIM Shipyard channels in Discord where you can ask, follow-up questions and so on. And our fantastic community managers will guide you through the whole process. So don't worry about that. But yeah, just keep your eye out for the learning materials that we'll be sharing with you all, and then we'll announce the exact time of the quizzes that will kick off on the Saturday the 12th. So Saturday the 12th will be the first quizzes. Stage 1 lasts 2 weeks. Your graduating quiz, therefore, is on the 19th? Is that correct? 19th?
Yes. 19th.
Yep. And following that, we'll see what the leaderboard looks like, and we'll have a set of winners for stage 1. Those winners will be invited to graduate on to stage 2, and the learning material and the tasks and the quizzes are going to get increasingly difficult. So stage 1 is the NIMster stage. After that, we're going to have the Navigator stage, which is going to focus a little bit more on sharing our materials. So if, in the first stage, you're learning a little bit about what is NIM, what is the NIM mixnet, what kind of privacy problems does it solve. You're going to learn a little bit about the kinds of platforms that we're organizing on, what are the privacy problems of those platforms, how to solve those. Stage 2 is all about sharing that knowledge that you've now gained, right? So it's like, okay, let's bring that out into the world. That's the Navigator stage. So at the end of that stage, you'll learn how to kind of navigate the digital seas of surveillance in effective ways. And you'll help others navigate the digital seas of surveillance while retaining their privacy. So stage 2 will also run for 2 weeks. And then after that, the graduating cohort will carry on to stage 3, our final stage, to become sail makers. And this is where we're going to ask you to complete some slightly more difficult tasks. And this is going to be all about understanding, how the privacy problems that we've been discussing over the previous weeks actually play out in your local environment. So it's a chance for you to kind of think a little bit deeper about, how does NIM relate to your specific context? How does it solve problems within your specific community and so on? And then the final graduates will be invited to become NIMJAs and actually work more closely with the core team. And speaking of core team, Sudo has also been very good at organizing. He's going to set up some seminars. They're going to be running on a weekly basis. So apart from looking out for the information drops that we'll be sending out on different socials channels, we're also going to have core team members giving a talk. So there'll be one talk every week by one of the core NIM team members. So hopefully that should also be fun and interesting for everyone. You get a chance to get to know the people behind NIM a little bit better.
We're gonna have a lecture by a core team member each week, and that will also help you prepare for the quiz at the end of the week. All right, guys, I'm looking through what else we need to say. Oh yeah, one important thing is that the quizzes are going to be time limited. So you will only have a given amount of time to complete them. So keep that in mind. We will make sure to accommodate all the different time zones, so you won't have to be up in some unreasonable hour to complete the quiz. But in general, there will be a time limit. Also, probably people are familiar with the Discord quiz bot. We're going to be using that to conduct the quizzes, and then you probably also understand how it works. So there is going to be a time limit for each question, and people are going to be participants are going to be taking the quizzes simultaneously, all at the same time. And what we haven't mentioned yet is that, but you already know this from the announcement post, the overall prize pool of Shipyard Academy is 100,000 NIM tokens, and it will be distributed among the top performers each stage on the quizzes, and also in line with how much more difficult the later stages of Shipyard Academy are going to be. The overall prize pool is going to be distributed accordingly. So stage one will have 15,000 NIM at its prize pool, and then the split between stage 2 and stage 3 will be announced at a later date.
It's also worth saying that there might be some occasional surprise bounties that might crop up depending on what comes out of some of the more technical leaning tasks, but more on that as we progress.
Not only that, but there may be some additional prizes that we can't really talk about at this point in time. So stay tuned for that. We're trying to line some things up in the background that may end up happening before Shipyard Academy concludes, and then we can also provide our top performers with some additional rewards in a different currency. Okay.
Cool. Did we get through all the information? So once again, everyone, don't worry. We're going to put this out in written form as well. The basic information will absolutely also be translated to the relevant languages. We're very keen for Shipyard Academy to especially also boost our community in more underrepresented areas. So we're going to do our best in that. So you've got a fantastic group of community managers who will help make that happen. Otherwise, I think we've got everything.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you guys have questions. If you do have questions, then please leave them in the community call text channel. But yeah, that was basically it from our side. One thing, one of the ambitious goals that we have with Shipyard Academy. So like we said, we want to raise awareness of the general issue of privacy through this program. We want to empower you guys to be able to take your privacy into your own hands, and We also, if it's possible, then we also want to privacy enhance Discord through through Shipyard Academy. So that will be one of the key activities of stage 3. So hopefully, if all goes well, and if it's technically possible, we're gonna end up with so after Telegram and Keybase and the Electrum wallet, we're also going to privacy enhance through NIM Connect Discord with our community.
Yes, which would be fun. And in the meantime, you'll also learn all about full stack privacy, because one thing is to add the NIM mixnet to Discord, but there's a lot of other things that one should know about Discord when it comes to privacy. The network layer solves some problems, but definitely not all of them. Which is also why we've joined forces in the Universal Privacy Alliance, as we mentioned earlier. The question of privacy is a holistic question. It pertains to all aspects of our digital infrastructures. And so, the network layer is the layer that NIM and the NIM mixnet solves. And it's, I believe at this point, one of the few projects in the world that really addresses that and addresses that layer effectively. So we are keen to support all the way up the stack.
So you will also, as part of Shipyard Academy, on top of not being tracked, you'll also learn about the different privacy issues of the tools that you're using every day, such as Telegram and Discord. This is an important goal of the program, to educate you guys about that. All right. Well, unless we have community questions, I think we will let you guys go. Really looking forward to kick off Shipyard Academy. It is going to be absolutely magnificent. And yeah, stay tuned for more info released very soon. Maybe about the technicals, just a little bit. So we've already started assigning a special Discord role to all of our participants. There's quite a few of you, so it will take some time. But basically, by about early afternoon tomorrow, that's afternoon in Europe, so evening time in Asia, we're going to open up the dedicated channels where Shipyard Academy is going to be taking place. We're going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves, and we're going to share the summary of the programs, so information that we shared during this call in a more consumable written format, and also the overview of week 1. So this one's going to happen tomorrow, so stay tuned for that.
Question in the channel: when will the times be announced for the quizzes? Pseudo, have you set that? Have you agreed with that on that yet?
Yeah. So each week, about Thursday or so, we're going to be creating events on the Discord server, so that so for each language
group.
Yeah, each language group, we're going to set an event, and we're going to be keeping in mind the different time zones. So most of the participants who joined, for example, from Spanish-speaking regions, are from South America. So obviously, we're going to be keeping that in mind while setting the times for these quizzes. And probably of the English quiz, we're going to have at least 2, so that if you're in a region where so if you're in a time zone where you need the quiz to. Anyways, I think you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm really not finding the words right now. Jay, help me out.
I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Anyway, okay, so yes, we're catering to the different time zones. Bear with us, everybody. For those of you who joined the call a little bit later, I just need to highlight both myself and Simon actually got COVID recently. So we're both very fuzzy brained right now as we're trying to explain very specific information, convey very specific information. But do not worry, all of this stuff will be written out in detail. And you will be getting the times for the quizzes every Thursday. they'll be registered as events in the language channels that you've joined, and we're trying to make sure that the time zones that the time actually matches, the time zones where the most people that will join for that specific language. So hopefully it will be, easy for everyone to take part in the quizzes, because the quizzes are time-based, yes? So this is something that's important for everyone to know. They happen at specific times. You have a specific set of time to actually complete the quiz. So yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. The brain fog is pretty insane right now.
It is. It's
All right,
pretty
well,
fun. Great.
unless-
Thanks everyone so much. Oh, there's one more question. Will there be a dedicated channel on Telegram? We're going to be sharing a lot of material on Telegram, but the quizzes, unfortunately, are hosted in Discord. So.
Yeah. So primarily we're going to organize Shipyard Academy on Discord. So we won't have a specific group on Telegram. I mean, we could change that, but I don't see it necessary. So we're just gonna have like dedicated channels here on Discord where you guys can hang out and ask questions and talk to each other.
Thank you all very, very much for listening in, and looking forward to having you all participate in the Shipyard Academy and just generally be involved in the community. I think Ismail is the usual.
Exactly. I'm sure many
final
of you
roundup.
are here also not just for
Outro.
Shipyard Academy, but also to claim your weekly POAP. POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. This is an asset that we give out to community call attendees, which is you this week, every single week. So people have been collecting these, and I'll just post a quick guide in the chat. Yeah, so that's it. Sudo, Simon?
Yeah. So the usual end of call housekeeping items. A huge thanks for everybody for joining. We have these community calls, by the way, for those of you who are new, every week at the same time. They're also being recorded, so you can see in the audience our recording bots. So the community calls are uploaded to a dedicated YouTube playlist where you can listen to them if you haven't been able to catch us live. And yeah, have a lovely weekend, everybody. Hopefully next week I'm gonna have a few more brain cells to participate in this call with, which would be great. And yeah, have a lovely weekend, everybody. Bye.
Ciao.